Right, this tutorial is all about how to tackle the first question on the foundation writing paper, which is describing a photo, and it is the easiest question on the writing paper, and yet it's worth almost a fifth of the mark, so it's worth 8 marks out of 50. So you quite simply have to pretty much get 8 out of 8 for this in order to make sure you get a really good mark overall. A lot of the time, the ones that I've marked, students tend to overcomplicate these. You can't confuse this with the speaking exam photo card. This is quite simply writing 4 clear sentences about what's in a photo. You can use exactly the same structure and just change one bit of vocab for each sentence. You don't have to be clever with this. You don't have to be varied. You don't have to give opinions. You don't have to do anything like that. You just have to say what's in the photo, which is really, really, really simple. So the best thing to start with, and it'll always say, see this just down here, it says qu'est-ce qu'il y a sur la photo, écrivez 4 phrases en français, and it will say that on your writing exam. And so actually you can borrow a bit of this to form your answer. And notice what I've written in yellow here, sur la photo il y a. So all I've done is I've taken sur la photo, in the photo, or as they say in French, on the photo, and then il y a, there is. And now, with most of the photos, there is normally at least 3 or more people in them. And so if you know enough words to say things like a man, a woman, a girl, a boy, some children, you're sorted. That is literally your 4 sentences sorted. And so basically you could potentially get away with trying to learn 6 words: man, woman, boy, girl, children, people, okay? And that potentially could be enough. Okay, so here we've got sur la photo il y a. Well, we've got options. We've got let me just write that there. Un homme, a man. Don't forget the un or the une. Okay, a. You can't say in the photo man. It doesn't make any sense. So in the photo there's a man, une femme, a woman, une fille, a girl. Let me write the English next to these, because you can make a note of these in your blue books or in your vocab books if you have not done so already, because actually learn these 6 words and you can get yourself 8 marks in your writing exam for foundation tier. So it's worth doing. A man, une femme, a woman, une fille, a girl, un garçon. Let's just make sure we get the accent on. Symbol, we've got the little C with the cedilla underneath it, which is, where is it? I can't seem to find it there. Anyway, let's cancel that. I think there's another way I can do it. Oh, 1, 3, 5. No. There you are, look at that. Un garçon, a boy. So that's 4 straight away. What about il y a un enfant? There's a child. Yeah, a child. What else might I say? Il y a une personne. If you're going to say a person, and make sure you spell it right, double N-E. If you spell it like the English, they will not give the mark. Okay, a person. Obviously, with that one, you could change, or with any of these, you could change the un or the une to a number if you wanted to. Il y a 2 hommes. Don't forget, if you're going to do that, let me just put that underneath, you need to make it plural. So if you want to say there are 2 men, il y a 2, you can even write it, the number 2, 2 hommes, but you'd have to put an S on the end of homme, because it's plural. It's more, yeah, okay. But essentially, you don't have to do that. So you can just stick with the un or the une. Apologies for those being capitalized. They shouldn't be, obviously, because they're not coming at the start of a sentence. We've got to have each of these sur la photo il y a in front of them. You can't just write that. You have to have sur la photo il y a in front of all these. So, sur la photo il y a un homme. Sur la photo il y a une femme. Sur la photo il y a une, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. Okay, so actually with those 6 nouns there, you pretty much could be sorted. Okay. However, as you probably noticed with this picture, which is why I've chosen it, there's only 3 people in it. So we could get 6 marks straight away from this vocab, but we'd have to think of another type of sentence to say if we couldn't remember the noun for, say, tent or grass or tree or hill, which are a bit more random. We'd then have to think, okay, what things do I already know, common language, that I could use to then do my 4th sentence for this one. So make sure you made a note of those ones. Okay, if you haven't done that, pause the video, make a note of those. Really, really useful, because guaranteed you're going to need some of them for the photo card, if not 4 of them. Okay, and then we'll have a little look now at how we could perhaps think of a tweak we could do to this to make it easier to do our 4th sentence. So if you cannot think, or if you don't quite have enough of the nouns that can go after il y a, so there is a this, there is a that, okay, there are other options you could try. Okay, so these are the things that I always get students to try and think of. So where are they? Where is the picture? Okay, is it in the countryside? Is it in a park, at a beach, in the forest, in a town? Okay, so that's a really quite straightforward one to do. So you could start, and I would probably be inclined to start these ones with je pense que c'est. I think that it is. You should all be familiar with that. You should all be well aware of being able to use that in class. You know, it's how you give opinions. I think that it is. So je pense que c'est, and then you could follow it by where you think they're at. So in this case, we could say je pense que c'est à la campagne. I think it's in the countryside. Okay. You could probably get away with just c'est à la campagne. It's in the countryside, but I think the je pense que is quite nice in front of it. Okay. If it was a different picture, you could say je pense que c'est un parc. I think it's a park. Or je pense que c'est une plage. I think it's a beach. Or je pense que c'est une forêt. I think it's a forest. Or if they're in a town, je pense que c'est une ville. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so using je pense que plus where they are, really easy to do. So je pense que c'est, and then their location. Okay, and that's quite straightforward. If that doesn't come easily to you, and you think, oh, I can't really do that, then why don't you think about the weather? Most of the photos I've seen so far have been outside ones. Obviously, you can't do this. If it's an inside photo, you can't say, I think it's sunny if they're in a room, because you probably can't see it and they won't give you the mark. However, if they're outside like this one, and again, useful to do, I think, by starting with je pense que, because you might look hot, but it might not actually be hot. So you could say je pense que, and then just use your weather phrases that you do loads. Je pense qu'il fait du soleil, or je pense que, what you could do with that one is il y a. So that's not how you spell il y a. Il y a du soleil. I think that it is sunny. Je pense qu'il fait chaud. I think that it is hot. Je pense qu'il fait froid. I think that it is cold. Easy to do. Okay, so you do weather pretty much. Those students who are watching this from Ring would pretty much know you do the weather every lesson. So you should at least know a couple. Stick je pense in front of it, and if they're outside, you could say, well, I think it's hot, I think it's sunny, I think it's cold, whatever. Okay, that's absolutely fine. If you can't remember to do any of those, okay, or you, for some reason, got a mental blank, you could always go down, I don't like this one so much, but you could always go down the route of talking about the clothes. Now, I really would avoid saying in the photo, there is a t-shirt. It just sounds a bit odd, okay? However, why not just say il porte, he is wearing, or elle porte, she is wearing? Really easy to do, you can say il porte un t-shirt, he is wearing a t-shirt, or il porte un short, he is wearing shorts. Or, I don't know, elle porte un chapeau, she is wearing a hat. Okay, so you've got loads of options there with clothes, really easy to do, il porte or elle porte. Okay, so make a note of that as well. The last one, again, if you are super stuck and you really can't think of enough sentences to do, you could talk about how they are feeling. Okay, and again, probably actually with these, let me just make that font a tad smaller, because I'm just going to add a little je pense que with those. Oh, let's try that. So with these ones, how they're feeling, I really think a little je pense que here is probably good as well, because again, je pense que, I think that, because you might not quite know how they're feeling. Okay, you think there's something. So je pense que, and then you can use this ils sont, they are. Je pense que ils sont. Ils sont a great one to learn. Make a post-it of it, stick it somewhere. Ils sont, they are. And you could literally go with je pense que ils sont contents. I think that they are happy. Je pense qu'ils sont tristes. I think they are sad. Je pense qu'ils sont sportifs. I think they are sporty. Okay, so you've got lots of different options there if you want to talk about how they are feeling. But essentially, you shouldn't end up getting down to that point there. You really should have got enough with the first option I gave you, which is in the photo there is. Okay, you should really hopefully have at least certainly two or three of the sentences there. And then you hopefully, most of the pictures I've seen so far have been outside. You could do a weather picture and where they are. Okay, it's not a weather picture, a weather sentence, sorry, and a where they are. And then you're done. Okay, so if we had a go at this one, this is a dead easy one because we've got 3 people in it. So let's do this as a worked example. Use this question to help you. There is absolutely no excuse for spelling any of this wrong. It will be written on your exam paper. Sur la photo, il y a is 3 words. Look at it on the exam paper, il y a, and copy it exactly. Don't lose silly marks. Sur la photo, il y a. I cannot just write I see this quite a lot. In the photo, there is man. You'd probably only get 1 out of 2 for that. You need to put the un there. Sur la photo, il y a un homme. 2 marks. Easy. Next sentence, we do not need to vary it. Sur la photo, il y a. So we've done, there's a man. Okay, there's a woman. Il y a une femme. Easy. Might as well make it grammatically correct and put full stops after it. Il y a une femme. 2 marks. Okay, no excuses for spelling sur la photo, il y a wrong. If you put un instead of une there, you'd probably still be fine. As long as you've got an a, one, yeah, un or une there, you'll be fine. Okay, the gender, if you get the gender slightly wrong, un homme, une homme, you'll probably still get away with the 2 marks. Okay, so sur la photo, il y a une femme. So we've got a man, a woman, we've got a child. Okay, let's go with that one. Sur la photo, il y a un enfant. In the photo, there is a child. And then that's the people exhausted. So that's when we have to look here. Well, they are outside. They're in a location. That's easy to do. Okay. I will go with je pense que c'est. That's not how you spell say. Je pense que c'est à la campagne. I think it's in the countryside. Full stop. 2 marks. 2 marks for each sentence. That is 8 marks. Done. Really easy. The main things you absolutely have to learn, you need to make sure you know these exactly. Okay, un homme, une femme, une fille, un garçon, un enfant, une personne. Okay, you have to know those. That's 6 there. You need to make a note of them. You need to put them up in the room somewhere. That's an easy load of marks you can gain there. Not a problem. Other things I'd make a note of, definitely the where are they and the whether 2 sections. If you then want to think, oh, I might get stuck after all that and do the il porte, elle porte, je pense que, and how they're feeling, that's absolutely fine as well. But essentially, the where are they, je pense que c'est, and those different places, really that's probably a big enough list because they're probably likely to be in one of those places if they're outside. And then the weather, again, if they're outside, you know some weather phrases, so je pense que, and then your weather phrases. Okay, and that is literally 8 marks, 8 out of 50 for that. No worries. Okay, almost a 50 or marks. So pause the video and have a go at doing this one. Really straightforward. Just pause the video, write your 4 sentences, and then I will go through some options I would have done for this. Right, so hopefully you had a chance to write your 8 sentences. This one, dead easy, because there's loads of people in it. And there's actually some other things as well with some really, what I consider to be quite common vocab. So, and also they're outside. So we've got loads of really easy options. I definitely would have started with the people. I always go down that route initially. So take it from the questions on the exam paper. Sur la photo, il y a un homme. 2 marks. I'm sure there's some women there. Yeah, there's definitely some women there. Excellent. So you've got sur la photo, il y a une femme. Definitely 2 marks. Now, I can't see any children. Oh, that might be a child, but I don't think I'd like to guess at that. So that might be me kind of exhausting the people. However, there is a really easy bit of vocab in here. Okay, you should all know this word because it's exactly the same as English. So, sur la photo, il y a une bus. In the photo, there's a bus. That's really easy. If you knew the word for bike, un vélo, you might know that, or une voiture, you might know that. That's not necessarily going to be every single photo, but for this one, that's another option. We can go sur la photo, il y a. And then we're just left with our 4th one. Obviously, if we knew something else like car, bike, done, sur la photo, il y a. If we didn't, let's go back to what we talked about here. Where are they, or the weather? Our first 2 options. And let's start with the je pense que. Where are they? In a town. Lovely. Je pense que c'est une ville. I think that it is a town. Done. Okay, really easy. You could say je pense que Il y a du soleil, maybe, possibly. If you're looking up there, it looks sunny-ish, I suppose, or something along those lines. But essentially, let's think where they are first. And in this case, they're in a town. 8 marks, done. Probably takes about 5 minutes. There are absolutely no excuses for not getting a really high amount of marks for this, 6, 7, or 8. You literally just have to learn a few words. Okay, so make sure you go about doing that. Make sure you've got a note of all of these. Okay, if you need to go back through the video, pause it and make a note of those, and certainly the first 2 sections of those. And if you want to do the last 2 as well, just to give yourself more options, but perhaps sometimes it might be best having less to learn, but make sure you learn it really well. And then just make a note of that, put them on post-it, stick them around the house, learn them, and then the photo card will be an absolute doddle. Okay, so that is how to